what I wore last week. So let's have a little look at what I've been getting up to. It's been quite a busy week, to be honest, and a lot of working. So let's see, what have I actually been wearing? You'll see I started to move away from the more cozy stuff and into kind of my normal perfumes because I'm not as ill as I was. So obviously when I had my cold, I was just like, give me lavender, give me comfort, give me cozy. But the weather's been all over the place again. This is, anyone who's not in the UK watching this, it's always all over the place. But anyway, I'm going to start with one that's a new perfume that I'm probably not going to keep, but I do actually think it's nice. So I'm going to talk about it anyway in this because I wore it, but gave it a proper wear test. So this is Les Fleurs de Lanvin, and this is Sweet Jasmine. So this is one that I saw come out on Fragrantica a really long time ago, and then it just never showed up on any of the websites, the European websites where I normally buy Lanvin perfumes. So I've had the other three in this range. The only one I've kept is Blue Orchid. I can't remember what the other ones were called. One of them, I loved how it opened, smelled like osmanthus and apricot and all this yumminess. And actually, thinking about it, it smells a bit like, what was that Gucci? Was it called Gucci Flora? Anyway, that one, I loved how it opened, but it came a very, very screechy, kind of powdery, laundry musky smell when it dried down. And then the other one was just a bit too sharp. It wasn't my kind of thing. It was a bit white floral. But the blue orchid is it's just, that one's really pretty. It's really easy to wear, and also they were all 40 ml bottles. This one turned up on Notino, and I just thought, I'm just going to try this one. Sadly, I could only get it in a 90 ml bottle. I couldn't find it in anything smaller. I think I read something about this being a perfume that they brought out for the Japanese market or something, and so it up until recently you couldn't really get it elsewhere. So anyway, I thought I'd try it, even though you may be saying to yourself, well, come on, fusspot, you don't really like Jasmine. But I had read enough about this and looked at the votes to see that it wasn't necessarily just a Jasmine perfume. A very beautiful bottle. It's got a very, very pale green liquid in this. So, Les Fleurs de Lanvin. This has notes of green tea and bergamot in the top, and then jasmine, magnolia, white flowers, and orange blossom in the mid, and musk in the base. That's all it tells you. This is pretty. It's definitely a pretty perfume. It's the only reason that I'm saying I'm probably not going to keep it is because I don't feel like I'm ever going to reach for this. I don't feel like I need it. And the reason for that is that it kind of smells like if you mixed Aqua de Joya with Elizabeth Arden's green tea. So it has... It's a bit more feminine and less woody and less kind of slightly less citrusy than Aqua de Joya, but it's not as sweetly kind of aromatic and herbaceous as green tea. So the thing is, I love green tea so much that things that I have that are slightly in that wheelhouse, I never like them as much as actual green tea. They have to be quite different for me to bother keeping them. And because this one, I actually just got, when I bought this, I got the La Rive dupe of Aqua de Joya as well. Because I returned Aqua de Joya because it smelled like tar to me. Like it smelled like it had that chemical in it. This is super pretty. Super pretty. If you want a light, slightly floral, citrusy, kind of spa-like smell, and you love this bottle, like it's quite affordable and it's super pretty, but like I just don't need it. It's also sort of in that same category as Chanel Chance Eau Fraiche, not the new version, but the older version, but again without that kind of patchouli, woody, dry down. It's that same kind of thing. In fact, I'm looking at it now because I've actually got it up on eBay, but I have the Elizabeth Arden Untold Eau Fraiche, and that one smells to me like a more feminine version of the Chanel. And this smells very similar to that. But I just, every time I sniff the cap, every time I think about wearing it, I'm just like, well, I might as well just wear green tea, because I love green tea so much more. So anyway, I think this is a really pretty perfume and I would happily recommend it. It's just not one that I feel like I need to keep in my collection personally, because I obviously have so many perfumes. It's just not, it's kind of not top of my list in that respect. It's also been compared to, I think, the Jo Malone Bluebell perfume, and I can kind of see that it's that same kind of scent, but I don't necessarily think, like, I wouldn't have smelt this and thought of the perfumey version of a Bluebell. So yeah, it's definitely, it smells like a Jo Malone. I mean, it could definitely be a Jo Malone. It is that sort of perfume, but I don't necessarily think it smells just like that one. I definitely think, yeah, a bit of green tea, a bit of Acqua di Gioia, somewhere in the middle of those two. So when I was still feeling rough, this was one of my weekend comfort perfumes. Yeah, I doubt I would have the urge to wear this out the house. There is something about this one that does feel like super cozy at home. This is Black Sugar from Korres. They're a Greek brand. I don't know if I'm saying that quite right. I might not be pronouncing it correctly. But I do think I really like these bottles as well. I just really like this amber coloured glass when bottles are like this. But anyway, this is caramel, heliotrope, lily and oriental notes in the top. Mid notes of brown sugar, Brazilian rosewood and rose. Base notes vanilla, tonka bean, amber. I definitely get a bit of powdery amber. I get a lot of powdery heliotrope. I do get the caramel and I get the tonka and I get the vanilla and I get a bit of brown sugar. And I mean, you can kind of get a sense that there are some woods and there's some flowers, but it's like a powdery, caramelly, sweet, fluffy skin scent, you know? It's just a really easy one when you don't feel great, like, and it just kind of fit with my mood on that day. There's definitely days where I smell this and because it's so heliotrope forward, I'm like, no, because sometimes I struggle with a very sweet and powdery heliotrope. This one's cute though. It's really pretty. It gets compared to Prada is it Candy? Yeah, Prada Candy. And I don't remember what that one smells like, so I can't really comment on whether it does smell like that, but it's really lovely. Okay. Is this one going to fit up there? I think so. So, this is a perfume that I have an actual genuine big dent in. I bought it new because this used to be my signature many years ago. So this is a bottle. I got through so many bottles of this perfume. This is In Love Again by Yves Saint Laurent. I have to move it so you can actually see it. It's such a pretty perfume. I really, really like this one, and I had forgotten because it has been a very long time since I actually gave this a full wear test. And I feel like the last time I gave this a full wear test might have been relatively early on in my kind of YouTube journey, if you see what I mean. So when I didn't have so many perfumes. And yeah, it just doesn't last. It's so pretty, but it really has terrible longevity. And I'm not talking like, oh, it's just like eau de toilette level. I mean, it literally, honestly, I've got Aqua Colonias that last longer than In Love Again. And these are like 80, well, they used to be about £75 a bottle. I don't know what they are now, but my goodness, like, it's so pretty though. So here is what I'll say. The notes that they give you for this now, this version of In Love Again, because this is an older perfume that they got rid of for a while, then they reformulated and brought it back in that same way that they did with some of the Dior perfumes, you know, and they've got the Création de Monsieur Dior. It's that kind of thing. But when it came back, the notes listed are blackcurrant, mandarin orange, grapes, muscat, I think is what they say on here, muscat grapes, rose, peony, blackberry and musk. Okay, so I do think this has a muscat wine smell to it, and I think that's why I loved it so much. But the reason I smelt this and tried it in the first place was because the old version has tomato leaf in it. So the old version, the notes are listed as grapefruit, blackcurrant, cassia, blueberry, vodka and apple in the top. Then the mid is grapefruit, rose, water lily base, tomato, blackberry, musk and sandalwood. And I do think that this, it does smell like there's muscat grapes in this version, but I think it still has elements of that old one. I think the vodka is probably where the booziness is coming from. Then you've got this really sweet, slightly syrupy, grapey, blackcurranty smell. You've got an obvious rose. I can smell the rose in here. I'd go as far to say that when I wear this, because I don't normally wear loads of rose perfumes, this is like in my list of rose perfumes for me personally. I don't know that I'd have the nerve to call it a rose perfume in an actual video, but when I think of the florals in this, I think of rose. But there is definitely something in here that's unusual and slightly green, and it does have that tomato leaf vibe that I adore in my very first ever signature scent, which was La Belle Cerucci Liberty Fizz, and then also in Stella Pop and in one of my other previous signatures, the blackcurrant leaf and tomato from Brocard. So you can see it actually says here accords of cassis, mandarin, raisin muscat, rose, pivoine and myrrh. 1998. So it's so pretty. I love this perfume, but it actually wound me up how short the lasting power was on this. I really like now, and I don't talk too much about how long perfumes last, because it does seem obvious to me from doing YouTube and from also watching other YouTubers that it really depends on like the kind of skin that you have and the way you wear it, how much you spray. Like, it's a very personal thing, and there are some things that YouTubers will say last forever on them that are really brief on me, and there are some things that people say don't last long, you'll see one of them later, that I can smell on me all day with no problem. But it does seem that nobody says that In Love Again lasts very long, so I'm guessing that this is one that just has no lasting or staying power. But it's so pretty. And what I will say, Kayali Citrus smells like a rip-off of this perfume. So it's, I think, a little bit more syrupy, slightly thicker, and I think it lasts longer. I don't think there's a massive difference, but I do think actually they're probably around about the same price. If you can get hold of Kayali Citrus, that is basically a kind of slightly citrusy, fruity rose perfume. You know, citrus is a weird name for it because I don't really think it smells particularly like citrus. But it is, honestly, when I first smelt that little perfume, it was so much like this one that I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, is this a joke? Like, surely they've just recreated this. And then I ended up giving that little bottle I had to my sister because she had told me that she'd had like a sample set of Kayali, and she'd really fallen in love with the citrus one, and I was kind of like, well, I've got this one, so I'll give you my little bottle of that. And to be honest, I do kind of think, I don't think she realizes, but probably the reason she likes it is because this is what I used to wear for years. I wore this every day, so she probably recognizes the profile. But yeah, so she's got that one, but I would say I reckon that one's better value, which is mad, but anyway. Okay. Ooh, this is the one that I wanted to talk to you about last week, but I was I'd been so ill that I hadn't really worn anything. Had I worn anything new? I don't know. I just went for cozy stuff, really, didn't I, last time? And I wasn't going to risk wearing something that was brand new because I didn't want to. I didn't want to taint it or make myself feel ill, you know, by wearing something that I wasn't used to. But I wore it this week because it's so pretty. So this is one that I got a sample from when I got some other samples. And I smelt the sample and I was like, nice. And then I gave my husband my wrist to smell, and he was like, And then he brought his nose back up to my wrist and said, oh, I could really get into that one. And I thought, right, okay, this is definitely a winner then for both of us. This is Cinema from Yves Saint Laurent. So I've got two Yves Saint Laurents in a row. This has got such a cool bottle. It says YSL or Yves Saint Laurent all over the back, and then it kind of reflects through in this crazy way. It's so cool. So there's a number of reasons why I wanted to get a sample and smell this one. One is like in a really in a very basic way. I studied film and photography at university, so I love cinema, I love films, I love movies, I love cinema, and I just love that this is called cinema. I mean, it's really as basic as that. I loved that it was called cinema. I think it's a really cool bottle. And then I was reading about it, and I thought maybe this is like an interesting vanilla, because vanilla is voted as the top note, but then it's got florals, but it didn't look like florals that were really going to upset me. So I thought I'll get a little sample. And then I just thought it was a really beautiful perfume. So I used some of that sample, and then I went onto eBay, and someone was selling their brand new bottle that they'd bought from, I think they had all the information about where they'd bought it from. It was a UK company that I know. Is it the Fragrance Shop or something? And they didn't like it, so they were selling it on, and I got it for about £40 plus postage. So I was very happy, because this is a much more expensive perfume than that normally. It's one of my pricier ones, as it's in, Yves Saint Laurent. But this is so pretty. Oh my goodness. It doesn't... Hang on, let me give you the notes and then I'll just tell you what I think about it. So the notes in the top are almond blossom, clementine and cyclamen. Mid notes are jasmine, peony and amaryllis. Base notes vanilla, amber, benzoin and white musk. So the votes are vanilla up the top, and then almond blossom, then clementine and then amber. The dry down of this one reminds me of something I already have, but also the general feel of it is kind of in my wheelhouse for vintage floral vanillas that I already have. And I don't think that this smells old-fashioned, but it also isn't a particularly modern texture in the perfume, if that makes sense. Because it's got quite a lot of amber, it's got that kind of warm benzoin, and then it's got a floral vanilla. So it's kind of, I would say, in the same kind of realm, in terms of the feel, not the actual smell, of Tokard by Rocha, which is my kind of slightly powdery Turkish delighty amber rose vanilla. And then Casimir by Chopard, which is, oh my god, so delicious, which is the, again, ambery, slightly powdery, slightly unusual ylang and vanilla. Like those are how I think of those two perfumes. This one is like an almond floral amber vanilla. So, and I'm very fussy about amber as well, so there definitely will be times of year where I'm like, no, I wanted to get it in this week because it was cold enough for me to still wear this. It's not massive. It's not so thick that most people wouldn't be able to wear this at any time of the year except for like maybe high summer. But for me, because it is like a flowery vanilla that has like quite a lot of amber in it, this is a cool weather perfume for my liking. And it's how to describe it? You spray it on, it doesn't smell very strong, but it definitely gets stronger as it warms up on your skin. And I was really aware I was wearing this. I could properly smell it, but it wasn't like overwhelming. It's not like beastly. It's soft and it's really pretty. And it is kind of, it's grown up, but it's still a little bit playful is how I'd describe this. I think some people would say it was mature, but I don't necessarily think this one smells particularly mature, and I'll tell you why. Because the dry down smells like a very elevated, more powdery, less caramelly, well, sort of less gourmand version of Jimmy Choo Illicit. So if you think that maybe like Jimmy Choo is like a happy-go-lucky, yummy lady that just smells a bit gourmand, there's something flowery, there's something kind of vanilla-y, there's something creamy, caramelly in this one. This smells like a rich lady version of this. Like, it really does. This smells like a fancy, super like someone who lives in a very expensive area version of Jimmy Choo Illicit. So I really like both of these perfumes. Illicit definitely is, like I said, it's definitely more obviously gourmand. But if I smell this one, and then I smell this, Cinema just smells so much more expensive. I mean, it is much more expensive, but it's like a really refined version of that kind of Jimmy Choo Illicit general profile. And it's just lovely. I love this bottle. I'm so happy to have this. It's super, super pretty. I do get a sense of that clementine, and I think that mixture of the almond blossom and the clementine with then a kind of slightly powdery, slightly vintage vanilla is just really working for me. I think it's so pretty. Really, really nice. So anyway, let's move from one of my much more kind of valuable in terms of actual cost perfumes, because like I said, like this one, because I've had it for so long, I think this would have cost me around about maybe £70, something like that. This one I did actually buy for 40, but I know that they're much more expensive to buy those new. So that's one of my more expensive ones. But then I also wore, because I just so happy to break it out again, so delicious, one of my cheapest perfumes, which is Katy Perry's Indi, and I love it, and I always will love it, and it's so good. This is what I think of as my musky sandalwood perfume, my sweet musky sandalwood perfume. Oh, and while we're talking about musky sweet sandalwood perfumes, my husband has been wearing the Molecule 04 from Eccentric Molecules. He's been wearing that one for my plaisir, and it just it lasts on him forever, like until he washes it off. And anywhere he sprayed it, anywhere it's hit, it lasts forever. I can smell it all over the flat. I'm very happy about it because I love it, and he just smells amazing. So yeah, any men who are watching me, I highly recommend Molecule 04. I think he smells so good in it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, lasts forever. So this one though, oh, it says put the United individual or something, like put the U in individual. Oh, put the U in individual. Okay, that's what it says. I can't believe I've only just noticed that. Anyway, Indi is plum, tea and bergamot in the top, white cedar extract, lily of the valley and cyclamen in the mid. Base notes of musk, white musk, black musk, Egyptian musk, island musk, tonka bean and amber. So this is what confuses me about this. This fully smells like a sandalwood perfume to me. It smells like a creamy, smooth, sweet sandalwood perfume. I also get coconut from this, which I know a lot of people do and a lot of people don't. I'm one of the people who gets coconut. But it's weird that it doesn't list having sandalwood, because it smells like sandalwood, and it is compared to Juliet Has a Gun Sunny Side Up, which is like I think a coconutty woody perfume. It's compared to Santal 33 from Le Labo, which is a sandalwood perfume, to that one of the more recent Jennifer Lopez ones. It's a sandalwood perfume. It's compared to Santal Blush from Tom Ford, which I do think there is, I definitely get a bit of that. But the one that I think it smells the most like is the Van Cleef & Arpels Santal, is that Santal Blanc I think it's called? And that's the one that my friend was wearing at my wedding. And when I smelt her, she sprayed something on and I was like, oh, you're wearing Indi. And now she has one of my backup bottles of Indi, because it's obviously way less expensive, but it smells so similar. So, I mean, I'm just obsessed. This smells like creamy heaven to me. It's so, I can wear it with anything. And this is one that, honestly, people say this doesn't last. If you get this on your clothes, it will last until you wash it off. Like, I can smell this on clothes that I've worn weeks ago. If I wear like a scarf, or if I wear a shirt and then I put it away, when I next take it out, I will have to consider whether I'm going to wear Indi again, because I can smell it so strongly on it. So I just think people go anosmic to this. I think it's that same, it's probably got that same, the Molecule 04, it's probably got the sandalwood molecule in there, and that's why people can't smell it anymore. But it smells like creamy coconut to me. Creamy coconut, sandalwood, tonka bean is so lush. And the tea just makes this light and slightly transparent. It's so, I just fully love Indi. Anyway, how long have I been talking for? 25 minutes already. Okay. Then I wore this. I'm going to spray this one out. It doesn't have a lid. None of the CK1 bottles do. So, CK1 Gold, I have a tiny bottle of the original CK just because, you know, just for memories, really. It's just one of those things that's nice to have to compare to things, and just I think it's like a little 10 ml, little tiny miniature, super cute. Now, I have had other CK ones. I've bought a few of them and then I've always passed them on because they nearly always lean too masculine for me. Like, I know they're supposed to be unisex because they're quite often quite woody, or they're just, they never really have worked for me until I got this one. So I had a sample of this, which I got because Chris from the Perfume Nest was talking about it. She was, funnily enough, talking about how much she hated this bottle, whereas I had been looking at this for ages before I saw her talk about it, because I really like this bottle. I think this is, I really love the dripping gold. I think it's such a cool bottle. I really like this one. But anyway, you know, we have very different tastes when it comes to perfume bottles. And I find that with me, actually, generally. I tend to like the things that other people don't like. And then things, you know, like House of Sillage and that kind of thing, I really don't like at all. So yeah, I think I'd maybe not too keen on the kitsch stuff, but I quite like this kind of thing. Um, I'm always a bit of a weirdo. But anyway, CK Gold is so shiny. This is a lovely freshie that is definitely very unisex and also is a lovely fig perfume. So I first smelt this in the sample and I thought maybe this is leaning, I think maybe it might be slightly too masculine for me. I got my husband to try it and I really liked it on him, and I just kept thinking about it, and I tried it on my skin again and I was like, if I can find this for a good price, I'm going to buy it. I think it was like 15 quid for this, and I was really happy to get a 50 ml bottle because I don't need 100 ml of this. And quite often the CK1 bottles are like 100 ml, and then they're really affordable, generally speaking, if you get them on the grey market. But this one, I was like, I want a smaller one. This is so pretty. I wore it this week and I really and genuinely enjoyed wearing this. There is something very comforting about this. It's definitely extremely unisex. In fact, I'd say that out of my entire collection of things that I actually wear, this is the most unisex with one toe in masculine of anything I have, other than Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. And that one I do find very unisex, but I can understand why people sometimes say it's a little bit masculine because it's so woody. This one has a kind of woody base that I think could push it in that way, but there's something so lovely about this. So the notes are fig, bergamot and sage in the top, middle notes of neroli, jasmine and violet, base notes vetiver, gaiac wood and patchouli. So you can see it's got vetiver, it's got gaiac wood, it's got sage, it's got a lot of the things that are in perfumes that are made for men. But I just think this is really pretty, and it doesn't list having musk, but I get a kind of figgy, woody, slightly fruity, floral, musky smell from this. And I'll tell you, it doesn't, and I'm not saying it smells like this because it doesn't smell like this, but it is, I would put it in the same bracket of types of perfumes as wood, sage and sea salt. It's that kind of, if you want to reach for something fresh, slightly transparent, it's going to make you just feel really yummy, but isn't like super feminine, or super masculine, like sort of bang down the middle, then this is where I would put that. Like, if I ever manage to get, I quite want to get maybe one of the little 9 ml bottles of wood, sage and sea salt, because I want to compare it to some things. It gets compared to stuff all the time, but I've still yet to smell anything that I think actually properly smells like it. But if I had a bottle of that, it would be next to this in the way that I kind of group my perfumes for certain moods or certain times of the year. It's definitely that kind of thing. It has a little hint of that kind of Philosophus fig. So, but it isn't predominantly just that, because I really like the way Philosophus smells, but I don't necessarily want to smell so much like a fig. Like, whenever I've tried that on my skin, I'm like, it's so pretty, but at the same time, I'm like, do I want to walk around actually literally smelling like a fig? Maybe not. This has a bit more going on in it, so it's a bit more of an easy fig for me to wear, and it's just a really nice, easygoing, pretty, lovely unisex scent, and I really enjoyed wearing it. I have to be in the mood again, you know, like, I really have to be in the mood to wear something this unisex. well, if it's totally neutral, and I don't think this one's neutral, I think this is unisex in that I think it would smell, and it does smell amazing on men, but you could wear it if you're female as well. Whereas I have some unisex things that are so neutral that it's just like, yeah, okay, there it doesn't lean in either direction. This one I think again has one toe maybe towards masculine, but maybe just in the traditional sense of like what you normally put in masculine perfumes. Super nice. I really like it. I really enjoyed wearing that one. I thought it was lovely. Okay. I always enjoy wearing this one. It's absolutely lush. I have a big bottle of this. This is Lanvin Modern Princess. It's finally actually rubbed off now. The text, the font. So this is red apple and red currant in the top. It's freesia and jasmine in the mid. And then it's vanilla orchid, white musk and white woods in the base. I think of this one as being my red apple and freesia perfume. It's creamy, it's beautiful, it's got that sweet vanilla orchid in it. The red currant doesn't go too sharp, it's not too tangy. It's just beautifully balanced. It's so easy to wear. This is a very easy chuck on perfume if you like kind of musks, if you like a kind of creamy, it's a really light perfume to wear, but it also has a slight thick texture to it in a way because it's so creamy and that musk is really creamy. It's almost like a kind of bar soap, it's almost that kind of musk. And I do like those kind of musks. Very much like Jeanne from Lanvin as well, but that one's blackberry and raspberry. It's so beautiful to wear. I wore this because, I wanted to, for one thing, but also I went out on a date night with my husband and we went out for food. And sometimes it's fun when I'm going out for food to wear something that has a almost gourmand feel to it, but isn't like obviously just gourmand. And this has a very lovely red apple and a very creamy kind of sweet smell in it. And I just felt I did feel like a princess all day. So just to add, hasn't turned up yet, but I've ordered the 2 flankers from this. I was waiting till payday to get the Modern Princess Blooming, because that one you can get for about 30, 32, 33 pounds in the UK, and that's for 100ml. But earlier in last month, is it? When's this going out? Is it going to be? Are we in June yet? Anyway, I can't remember. I think we might be in June by the time this goes out. I'm making this on the Saturday, and I think maybe it'll be June on the Sunday. Maybe it's already June. Don't listen to me, ignore me. I'm talking rubbish. Anyway, I've been watching the Sensual version, Modern Princess Sensual. So that had been in my wish list on eBay, and it went down to the £15, I think, and then someone sent me an offer to have it for £13 for a 100ml bottle. So I ordered that one. I've got that one. So I will do a little range review at some point, because I have a backup of this, because I panicked. I noticed when I'd been talking about it that I couldn't really see it for sale many places, so I was worried they'd discontinued it. So I ordered myself a backup bottle, and now I think it's everywhere again. So I was like, okay, maybe they just hadn't restocked it, but fine. So anyway, I will talk about that whole range. It's one of my real easiest reach perfumes. It's so pretty. Okay. And then when I was still ill, so this probably would have been like, I don't know, on Saturday or something last week. I wore this guy again. Super cute, super pretty. Actually, do you know what? I think I started off with this one in the morning, and then I put black sugar on later on after this one had worn off. Yeah, I think I did those on the same day. So J'ose from Eisenberg. This is a really lovely little lavender perfume. This is another one that I'd say is very unisex, even though it's supposed to be for women. It smells totally unisex to me. And possibly even more so when I wore it on this particular occasion. I remember thinking, oh no, it does smell. I remember thinking, actually, this would smell amazing on my husband. It's really comforting. It's really nice. This is mint, Amalfi lemon, jasmine and bergamot in the top. Lavender, coffee, which I believe they describe as a mocha in the official notes. And artemisia in the mid. amber, sandalwood, patchouli, musk, vanilla, tonka bean and moss in the base. It's cozy, it's creamy, it's sweet, there's a bit of coffee, there's some greenness, there's a lot of lavender, there's musky, there's a lot of tonka bean going on here and a little bit of vanilla, there's a creamy sandalwood. It's just so pretty and it's just so comforting. I'm just smelling it now. It's like it's like having a little blanket wrapped around me, and I know that not everyone would feel like that. Some people think this perfume is weird, but I don't know. Like, I was expecting this to smell way weirder than it does to me. And I didn't really find it weird. But, you know, maybe I'm the weird one, right? So that's, I'm the one who's weird. Very much so. Seem to have very different tastes in a lot of things to a lot of other people on YouTube, that's for sure. So, yeah, maybe it's me who's weird, but I thought that J'ose is delicious, creamy, easy to wear, really nice. I got it from Latino and all the prices have gone back up again. So that's a bit gutted. Actually, that's happened with something else I'm going to talk about in a minute. So, I have only one, I think, strawberry perfume in my collection. And I only have a little 10ml rollerball of it. And I don't normally enjoy wearing strawberry perfumes. I really struggle with them. The only one that I really genuinely want a bottle of is a Brocard one. I think it's called Wild Strawberry, from their Sense of Nature collection. I have a sample of that, but I cannot get it because you can't get anything from Russia. But I kept hold of this one because I think this might be, like, after that one, my favourite strawberry perfume. So this is SJP NYC. It's hard to see. There it is. It's just a little rollerball. I did have the whole bottle, but I knew I was never going to wear it, so there's no point in me keeping it. So I just kept this rollerball of it. I so rarely ever get the urge to wear a strawberry perfume, but I just the other day I just happened to want to wear it. I was in the mood. I think it was my working from home day, so I just decided to wear this. This is super pretty. I mean, I have to say, by the time that this had worn off, I was quite sick of it and I was like, fine. But I always feel like that. There's something about strawberry perfumes that I just struggle with a bit. This is kind of like a slightly classier version of the Escada, like, summer release perfumes. You know, it's that kind of feel. It does have definitely a little bit of a crossover with what's the one that Rockin' Rio, but it's not kind of as tropical as that, you know, but it's that same kind of thing. So this is notes of wild strawberry, Italian mandarin, osmanthus, middle notes of gardenia, damask rose, honeysuckle and mimosa. Base notes rum, vanilla, musk, sandalwood. I definitely get a bit of rum. Definitely get the wild strawberry, which I always think smells like strawberry and apple mixed together. Definitely get some mandarin. Definitely get osmanthus. I don't know that I'd say that I could smell honeysuckle in this particularly, but I really like smelling this from here, and I enjoy it for a short time on my skin, but then I start to get a bit irritated by it, and honestly, always the case with strawberry perfumes. But this one, I'm happy to keep hold of this because I like that I've just got a little rollerball of it. It's super girly, very sweet, it's quite syrupy, and it also smells a bit like Ralph Love, which is the Ralph Lauren perfume. There was a flanker of the original Ralph that has candied apple and rose, like maybe it's candy floss, apple and rose or something like that. And I had a bottle of that. I ended up passing it on because that's another one. It's a little bit shampooey. It's not one I wear very often. I just kept a little decant of that. But it smells quite similar to this. So if you liked that one and you are sad to lose it, then this is also quite a nice one. Just randomly, little bit of... I like sometimes just trying to remember that I have these little rollerballs and that I've got things that I can wear that I don't necessarily look at because they're not part of, like, my display, or because they're so small they're all kind of put in a little pot. But yeah, that was a nice one. Okay, so... I did say I was going to wear this. I put my review up of these. I am still kicking myself that I bought the other bottles of the Tuttotondo perfumes and not this one, because this is by far my favourite. So this is Fico de India from Tuttotondo. It's Eau de Toilette. So there you go. That's the little carded sample. It's so nice. I really like this perfume. It's super pretty. I really enjoyed wearing it. It starts off being very, very fruity. So I was like, yeah, okay, that's nice. And then it kind of gets a little bit more bitter and a bit greener. Almost smells a bit like bitter neroli or petitgrain, that kind of thing. It has a bit of that vibe. And then it dries down and it smells like Moonlight in Heaven from Kilian, but nicer. And I say that because I've tried Moonlight. It's been a while, to be honest, but I've tried Moonlight in Heaven, and I feel like maybe Kilian are one of those houses that have some kind of house DNA or like use a certain type of musk or certain aroma chemicals that I'm not keen on, because I tend not to really enjoy their perfumes too much, even if I like the profile. And I did like the profile of Moonlight in Heaven. But this one, this lists notes of fig, orange in the top, fig and orange, I should say. Middle notes of peach, mango and cyclamen, and then base notes of coconut, nectar and musk. It says on the website, it says orange, fig, cyclamen, peach, coconut, milk and musk. So moss even. Oh, it says moss, not musk. Interestingly, that's I would say there's probably both of those things. So yeah, there's definitely a fig in this, and it's another really pretty fig, but this is a much fruitier fig than this one because it's got that orange and peach and mango in there as well. And then it's just got this lovely creamy, very light coconut milky kind of smell in there as well. It's so pretty. It's such a nice perfume. This one also smells pretty unisex to me, but probably much more feminine than that one. But still, definitely, you could, like, anyone could wear this really and no one would blink an eye, like, genuinely. It's really pretty, it's really nice. And I was waiting till payday and I went online to buy it, and then literally within the space of like, because I checked it earlier in the month and I was like, no, I've got to wait till payday because it's expensive to get this from, where did I get this from? FR Moda, it's called. I have to get it from Italy, I think it is. So it's like maybe like £18 just to get things shipped over. But I can get up to free samples with this as well. So I was like, that's fine, I'll do that. And they're normally about £35, I think. But they have, when I bought the bottles, and up until literally 2 days ago, they were £26. Now they've gone back up again. In fact, only the ones that I bloomin' talked about, except for the Spitzy one or whatever it was that I didn't like. The tiramisu, the castagna, the riso, and this one, Fico d'India, they have all gone up back to their original price. So I was like, well, because the shipping's so expensive, this is going to take this over my limit of what I was going to pay for it. So I'm just going to keep an eye out. I'm going to wait because this is the one that I actually want a bottle of. I need to retry Riso at some point just to see whether I actually get on with it better this time. And that might be one that I just take a decant from and then I sell on the big bottle. But this one I actually want. I want this one. I think I will wear it. I think it's going to be so lush in warm weather. I wore this on the warmest day this week. Really, really like Fico d'India. So yeah, that's my highest recommendation from Tuttotondo. I mean, obviously, if you're like a real fiend for gourmandy type perfumes, then you're probably going to love tiramisu and riso. But for me, I think this is their nicest one. I really, really like this perfume. And it's a really good alternative to Moonlight in Heaven, even though it does definitely have like a noticeable fig. So it has got a slightly different vibe. But yeah, I really, really liked this one. I thought it was lovely. Yeah, so I'm going to move that one out of the way. And that was my week. I hope I haven't... I've been umming and ahhing a lot. To be honest, I'm very tired. I'm doing this in the evening. I've had a really busy day and a very busy week. And I'm just quite tired. So I keep forgetting what I'm trying to say. And I know there's a lot of umming. And I'm still ever so slightly blocked up, but I feel much better. So that's good. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, please do consider subscribing. Please let me know if you have any of these. Oh my goodness, if you have cinema or you've smelt cinema, tell me what you think. I'd really like to know what other people think about it because I think it's really quite a lovely, lovely perfume. Yeah, tell me if you've got any of these other ones as well, and tell me what you've been wearing this week, and let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.